We're talking about the capital sins, and now we'd like to talk about the capital sin of sloth or laziness. Adolphe Tanqueray, in number 883 in the Spiritual Life, says that sloth is connected with sensuality, for it proceeds from love of pleasure, inasmuch as it inclines us to avoid effort and hardship. There is in all of us a certain tendency to follow the line of least resistance, which paralyzes or lessens our activity. The nature of sloth is that it is an inclination to idleness or at least aimlessness, to apathy in action. At times this is a morbid disposition due to a poor condition of health, but more frequently it is a disease of the will, which fears effort and recoils from it. The slothful want to escape all exertion, whatever might interfere with their comfort or involve fatigue. Like the real parasite, they live on others to whatever extent they can. Tractable and submissive, as long as no one interferes with them, they become surly and peevish when one would rouse them from their inaction. Sloth or laziness, we see a couple examples in the Gospels, in the parables. One parable is seen in Luke chapter 16 with the parable of the rich man and Lazarus. The rich man would eat and drink and enjoy essential lifestyle, and the poor man Lazarus actually died outside his gate. Lazarus ends up in the bosom of Abraham, which refers to salvation, whereas the rich man ends up in hell. Why does the rich man end up in hell? Not so much for what he did do, but for what he did not do. Often, there are sins of omission which are related to sloth or laziness. When we celebrate the holy sacrifice of the Mass, we say the Confiteor, we beg the Lord for the pardon of our sins of thought, word, deed, and omission. So omission is not doing what we should be doing. Another parable is found in Matthew chapter 25, and it's the parable of the talents. The master that gave 5 talents, 3 talents, and 1 talent. On his return, the servants that had the 5 and 3 doubled their talents, whereas the man who had 1 talent did not use his talent. He buried it in the ground. And he was chastised because he did not utilize the talent that was given to him. So sloth is this inactivity. It's basically a sickness of the will. In St. Ignatius of Loyola, and the 3 classes of men will work on us praying to have a stronger will to follow Christ. There are many types of laziness or sloth, but I'd mention 3. Laziness, physical laziness, mental laziness, and then spiritual laziness. Physical laziness might manifest itself in a woman that has responsibilities in her home as a housemaker to neglect the work that is required to keep the house clean, to maintain order in her home. Mental laziness, very common among children, students, in which they're called to exert mental exertion in their studies, but they prefer an easier route. And lastly, there is spiritual laziness. And this is not doing our spiritual activities. Neglect of prayer. The next talk will talk about what is the remedy to sloth.